Oh, we're going to see something. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm from Bangalore. I grew up here. Now Bengaluru, Namma Bengaluru. And I studied not far from here. And here I am as editor of India Today. And after that fantastic star performance by Shraddha, we have someone who's shooting for the stars. Pawan Chandana, CEO. Hi, Pawan. CEO and co-founder of Skyroot Aerospace. Not far from here is ISRO, our big giant ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. But Pawan is carving and blazing a trail of his own. He is India's first private company to launch India's first private rocket launcher. So let's give him a very big round of applause.
Namma Bengaluru.
Yeah. Look, has any of you all watched a live space launch? Anyone? Hands up. Great. Do you remember that experience? Firstly, if you haven't, you must go across. ISRO allows you to watch these rocket launches, right? Here in the east coast of India, Shar, Sriharikota. And one of the best scenes, I took my son to it, is you would never have heard a sound and lightning show like that. Am I right? Firstly, the sound. You guys play your loudest band here. Which is your deepest bass? Just do bang, 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 bang. Even harder. More. Okay, that's just, the sound when a rocket takes off is almost 100 times that sound. It's like, what would you say, 30 Boeing jets going together? What would be the sound like?
Maybe more.
It's the best rock band you can ever get. And if you see the flames of that, right, it is almost a kilometer long orange flame that goes up and you're watching it like this. It's just 30 seconds, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have a shot of what Pawan's done? Let's play that. Have a look at what Pawan's done. Come, Pawan. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Prarabh. That was the first Indian rocket built by a private space company and built by Pawan Chandana and Skyroot. November 2022, that's a name in history. That's because earlier it was only Indian Space Research Organization that built spacecraft and we're allowed to own it and launch it. But that policy changed. But Pawan, let's start really young. Did you build Diwali rockets or not?
Of course. I think the biggest inspiration for me is the Diwali rockets. I'm sure all of us love launching rockets and, we love launching it to the neighbors and, neighborhoods and all. We all did it. So that's the biggest inspiration that, made me get into rockets, get fascinated by rockets. I think India is, everybody in the youth, everybody loves rockets. And I think, my fascination also started there.
Now, did you take that passion? You went to IIT Kharagpur, right? Yeah. Was that something that you wanted to do at that age, or IIT Kharagpur was something that every young guy wanted to be?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I was very bad student in school. Very bad.
I was also.
So in fact, I remember getting, very, very low marks in maths. And, starting from there, of course, my teachers encouraged me and, I started doing really well. And of course, the middle class dream in India is to get into IITs. I got into IIT. and then I wanted to build machines.
Right.
And that's why I took mechanical engineering at IIT Kharagpur.
Okay.
And now working on the most fascinating machine ever built by humans, which is a rocket.
Well, I'd like to be in that place. I'm writing and you're doing the shooting. But let's talk about that journey, right? 22 years old, you have your co-founder come, Naga Bharat, and you all decide to join ISRO. 22 years, am I right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So why did you all go into ISRO? You could have done it yourself. You could have started an entrepreneurship before that. You would have had the lead on what prompted you to go to Indian Space Research Organization.
Yeah, so in fact, especially people in the IITs, they want to join companies or go abroad, get fat paychecks, etc. But in fact, I was very clear that I am really very fascinated with rockets, and I want to do something very exciting with my life. But still, I want to start a company at that point of time. But I never imagined that a rocket company would be something in my mind at that time. But I wanted to start a company, but didn't have the guts to start straight out of college. But my fascination is towards space rockets, so took on that leap of faith and joined ISRO as a scientist straight out of college, which very few people choose, especially from the IITs actually. Yeah.
And both Nag Bharat and him, they built the GSLV. Of course, you were in charge of the GSLV and he was in charge of the electronics. GSLV, guys, is the Geosynchronous Launch Vehicle 3. It is ISRO's biggest rocket ever. It's the third largest rocket launcher in the world. Am I right? It's giant. If you look at it, even that, Pawan, your first rocket's about that high, right? This
yeah, it's 7-storied building tall. Yeah, maybe
right?
Of that height. Yeah.
Right. And so you quit ISRO. I mean, this was a fantastically safe paying job. You had the best rockets that you're building. Why did you quit?
So in fact,
and let me tell you, he was 28 years old when he quit. Am I right?
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. So in fact, since college days, like I told, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur because I believe that entrepreneurship brings a lot of independence, can create a lot of impact in the country, and I strongly believe that entrepreneurship is going to change India. And I always wanted to start a company, but I didn't know what to start, where to go. But my fascination is always to tech, so I joined ISRO, and I would say even though I graduated from an IIT, I really became an engineer after joining ISRO. After doing this cutting edge work at what ISRO is doing at that point of time, and really loved that time. And 6 years there, I felt the future of Indian space is a mix of public agency and private agencies. That's the future, because till then it's only only ISRO, which is a very strong public agency, which is doing really good. But to go global scale and to become a global player, I think it's a good mix, very healthy mix of strong public agency, which ISRO already is, and a very strong private enterprise. So I saw an opportunity there, and I thought would take that leap of faith and start the company.
No, but at the beginning is duddu, right? Money. Where did you get the money? You have a great job, you have a safe job, you can get married easily. People will want to come and say it, but you gave up that. Where did you get the first bit of money that you did?
From Bengaluru. Okay. And in fact, our first investor is Mukesh Bansal, who built CureFit, Mintra. It is based in Bengaluru. And in fact, I came traveling to, meet him. And then I pitched to him that, this is what we are doing, quitting our jobs. This is a vision we have. We want to build strong private enterprise which can go global. And out of our surprise, he decided to invest. And he wrote in I think we just had a 45 minutes meeting, and we had a 10 crore check to start the company.
Guys, listen, 10 crore check immediately. I'd like that. I haven't earned 10 crores in all my life, but still, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's how the journey started. So I think successful entrepreneurs, boosted our initial journey.
Okay.
Because they have seen that journey and they believe that India had this in deep technology, especially in space. Because we're already top 5 countries in the world with space technology. And then I think the private space is the next big step. And I think really fortunate that we had that support from investors to start with. And I think so far, we have raised 750 crores.
750 crores, guys, from 10 crores in 4 years, 5 years. Fantastic. Let's give a really warm round of applause for that. And he's the leading space technology company. And let me tell you a little story, right? Okay, yeah, give him a little band here, 750 crores.
I would prefer to dance on the rocket launches,
Okay, just a little story, right? I went to Pawan Chandana in November 2021 to his office. Hole in the wall, cubicle. Yeah. Naga was sitting right there. And he showed me these 2 models, about this big. I looked at it. I've been covering space for 3 decades. I looked at these guys. They were 28. And I said, are you crazy? You're going to put this up in 6 months' time? I don't believe you. But we put him on the cover. And by November 2022, he had done it. And that's incredible, because I know space rockets take 10 years, an incubation period where you could get exhausted, you could burn out very quickly. So what was the magic formula you did to speed the whole process and build a rocket in 2 to 3 years when normally it'll take over a decade?
I think so. One of the biggest things is that we are standing on the shoulders of giants like ISRO, who has built a wonderful ecosystem. Like for example, the rocket which you're going to launch in few months, it has 400 suppliers from India, which is already built like over decades. So that kind of infrastructure is already built. So that is one advantage we had. And second is like I think we are a company which is driven by real passion and vision of the future. So everybody in the company are driven, and we want to achieve the big things. In fact, we say our whole goal of the company is to open space for all. We'll start with opening space for satellites, and literally we want to create space so easy to go to space that we can just hop onto a flight and go to space. So that kind of vision-driven approach puts us to our toes, get us working, push ourselves, push the boundaries, and execute things. I think.
Well, there's a little, master class for you, how to get ahead quickly. There are more tips to come, but Pawan, talking about your first rocket, right? That is Vikram S, which we just saw, the beginning, as they call it, very dramatically. And that rocket's about, 2-story high?
Yes.
It goes at the speed of 5 kilometers per second. Am I right?
Mach 5. Yeah,
Mach 5.
5 times the speed of sound.
5 times the speed of sound.
Yeah.
Okay. If you got the next rocket he's building is going to go at 8 kilometers per second. Right? So just think about it, guys. Just a fast calculation. If you want to go from here to Brigade Road, how quickly would that be? 2 seconds? 3 seconds? That's the kind of rocket you're doing, right? But tell us about that. Now, that is going to be, Vikram S was your proto, right? It tested. There was some fantastic technology, which you need to talk briefly. I know we're not all science students. I wasn't. I was an arts graduate, so don't do the jargon, but there were 2 big technologies that you mastered. Just tell us that about it.
I think one is like the launch we've done Vikram S 2 years ago. It's built, the entire structures will build with carbon fiber. So basically, if you might have seen steel, aluminum, we think that metals are strong, but carbon fiber is 5 times stronger. So that's what we have used. It's a material which is the lightest, strongest material, and we build the entire rocket with that.
Wow.
I think that is one big innovation we have.
Now guys, just get this, okay? You're putting a 2-story rocket, you're using carbon fiber. Why do you use carbon fiber? Because every single kg that you try to push up requires a lot more fuel, rocket fuel. And that's the trade-off. If you build lighter rockets, you can put more payload. Payload is your satellites. It's what you use for your telephones and everything else. That's utility, right? To scan the earth and do earth sensing. So every kg. So carbon fiber is the cutting edge of space technology. And Pawan, you're the first, Chandana, for first putting it up, am I right, in a rocket, Indian rocket?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Of an all-carbon fiber rocket,
And let's talk, there's another really exciting technology, and let's talk about that, how you built that rocket. I mean, this is like magic. Just tell us about it.
Yeah, so we also use parts which are built with 3D printing, So
3D printing. Guys know about it? Studied it? Yeah, talk about it.
Yeah, so 3D printing is, I'm sure like most of you have seen like 3D printers here and there. So you build layer by layer, you just put powder, you melt it with a laser, and you become like, you build the part. It's like magic, literally. You build layer by layer, and whatever is in your computer, it turns into your part. And that's how we build rocket engines as well, where we build with super alloys. I mean, like extremely hard materials which can take like very high temperatures, etc. And we print it out. So what happens is that whatever traditionally takes several months, sometimes years, will be reduced to manufacture in just few days. So that's.
And look, he's talking of temperatures. You know what the temperature is? 1,000 degrees or more centigrade. That is the temperature where steel melts. And you're sending this rocket, which is like a time bomb, if you're standing next to it. It's got so much fuel, if it explodes in front of you, it's like a little bomb. But let's not talk about that. We don't want to talk of failure. That is pushed up, and carbon fiber is the one that resists it. And the most important thing about 3D printing, correct me if I'm wrong, is that in a traditional rocket, you have about 1,000 parts. So every part, space is unforgiving. So any mistake, any error, even a 99.999%, you have to have accuracy. 0.09, if it fails, you fail up in space. So it reduces the number of parts to just what? 3, 4, 5?
1 part.
Wow. Okay. Okay. And that's the great innovation. Now I think he's doing the next big thing, which is in 2-3 months, we're going to have the most exciting launch, Vikram 1. Tell us quickly about that, Pawan, and then we're going to get to other stuff.
Yeah, so Vikram 1 will launch whatever we have launched 2 years ago. It's more like a test rocket. It goes to space and then falls in the sea. Its purpose is to test technologies, which we have proven and gives a lot of confidence. And what is going to go commercial is actually launching satellites. So this rocket, which we are going to launch in few months from now, is called Vikram 1, which is like the bigger brother of Vikram S. And it is 7-storied building tall.
Wow.
It can launch up to, 400 kilograms to orbit.
400 kilograms, anyone got it? It's like Maruti car is about 1,000 kilograms, or Maruti is out of date. What is the comparison?
Maybe a bike to space,
Right. A huge bike, 2 bikes you're sending up into space, right? Okay.
Yeah, and then in fact, like a mobile phones, satellites are getting smaller. And more than 80% of the satellites which will be launched in the next decade will be below 500 kilograms. So
wow.
That's where that's where we're building smaller payload vehicles, but still like the rocket is 7-story building tall. You need that much energy to go to orbit, and we'll be launching multiple of those satellites to orbit, and it has the same architecture. It's again all carbon fiber rocket. It uses 3D printed engines, so it's basically, as I said, it's the bigger brother of what we have already done, but more complex, much bigger, more energy, and more commercial.
Right, and let's come to the turning point in some sense of your life. You took the big risk, 2018. 2020, right, am I right, is when the Indian Space Research Organization makes this dramatic announcement during the period of COVID. The Modi government says the Indian space sector will be free. No more will Indian Space or ISRO build and launch their rockets on their own. Private builders like Pawan, Chandana and others can come in, not only build rockets, build satellites, use the ISRO facilities and launch them on their own. That was a game changer, am I right? What did it bring? What did it do to Indian startup industry? How many startups do we have? And how's that going to be a game changer?
So 10 years ago, there was maybe like 1 or 2 startups. Now there are 200 startups.
Wow.
So I think that's the kind of revolution the policy has brought in. And now you can build your own space stuff. I am sure like many of you will become entrepreneurs. I hope like some of you become like space entrepreneurs. And now doors are open. You can build your own solutions, build satellites, launch rockets, you build space solutions. There's so many opportunities. There's 200 vibrant different startups building different space products in India, thanks to the policy, and we are also enabled by that. Now we get to use a lot of test facilities of ISRO. All the rocket firings we do at ISRO. The launch you have seen, the launch pad is ISRO's launch pad. We use ISRO's launch pad in Sriharikota. So we get this access, which, decades of wonderful infrastructure built in the country is given on a platter to startups to explore, which is, I think, a legendary policy which has transformed. Now, thousands of people are being employed by just Indian private space startups, and, hundreds of millions of dollars of money has been invested in them. I think this revolution, just happened in the last 2-3 years. It's very nascent new. I think, we need to add to those 200 startups. I wish like many startups come from here as well.
Well, you're the next Elon Musk of India, but there could be a lot more Elon Musk. We just saw what Elon Musk did. If you're reading the papers, watching your mobile news or whatever you do to consume it, you would have seen Polaris, right? The first space tourist going up there. He's a billionaire himself. He's like you and me. We just walk on, get into a spacecraft, and we do a spacewalk. I mean, at one time that used to be big news. How do you see space tourism? Where do you fit into this genre? What are you going to focus on? Where does India need to keep its strength?
Absolutely. So I think like where I imagine is like in next 15-20 years, I think it will be quite regular to go to space. I'm sure like this generation, many people would want definitely go to space.
You're just 32 years old. Yeah? You're the same.
Yeah, sure. I'm still a decade older than them. So
right.
yeah. So I'm sure like, everybody, I think the current generations, we all will get to go enjoy space. Maybe like we'll celebrate a birthday in space. Probably, enjoy a life event in space, stay in space, go to space, watch Earth from space, which is like a very, very beautiful scenery. I think
I love
the best.
it.
Yeah.
Hey, so you build a rocket, you send me up first. Okay, I'm booked on this one.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But we got a couple of minutes, just a minute actually. Let's look at what are the big management tips you would give. You were an entrepreneur, you were a technologist, you went into IIT, you came and built one of India's first rocket. What are the 3 or 4 things that even I could learn, or all of us here, as to how we should get there? What are your life learnings from this?
I think first most important thing is like, I think being very decisive. take decisions quickly.
Being decisive. Right.
And number two, only two I have. So number two will be what I call is that people engineering.
Right.
So that is like people, like the country is a set of people, company is just a set of people. People have the what who build the company, and people have to be like legendary. Literally, you have to build a team which is so good, execute things repeatedly so fast, and I think people are everything. So people and their culture is very, very important. And like we have two engineering streams at Skyroot. One is rocket engineering, other is people engineering, and we see that the people are better and better with time, so that they can deliver on the big vision of opening space for everybody.
Okay, just 15 seconds. Your best moment of your life.
I think the launch.
Gosh, your wife will be angry. I thought you would say, falling in love. Come on, guys.
I think my wife is watching. Hi, Niru.
So you did a high five with her.
So yeah, I balanced it with that. But I think the launch moment was extraordinary. Even my wife was there in the mission control, and
right. You blew a kiss to her.
And it was like so tense. It was like it was like live everywhere in the TVs,
right.
And then the rocket is launching, and anything could go wrong in a rocket. A zillion things can go wrong. You just imagine like the kind of state I'm in. Like it's a mix of tension and excitement. Excitement that we're going to do something big, and tension that anything can go wrong. I think it's a very unique experience which I experienced. And the moment the rocket just flew right, I think it's the best experience I felt so far.
And for all Indians, let's give Pawan Chandana a fantastic applause for this. India's first private rocket launcher, Pawan Chandana. Thank you very much, Pawan.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.